call on my colleague from Baltimore, Maryland, the gentleman from Maryland, Elijah Cummings.
Very much. Thank you, Bobby. I want to first of all thank Congressman Scott for his leadership on this issue and so many issues that affect our young people. And I want to thank all the people who are here this morning, our public safety officers and folks on various campuses. It's you know, this is a issue that I've dealt with before. When the Virginia Tech incident happened, we immediately in Baltimore started pulling together all our campuses, trying to figure out how we would address such issues if we had such an emergency. And as a member of the Board of Trustees at Morgan State University, this is something that's constantly on our minds. This morning, though, I wanted to address this issue because it hits home. My nephew, Christopher Cummings, a 20-year-old honor student at Old Dominion, on the morning of June 10th of this year, was murdered. And he was murdered at his apartment, which was off the Old Dominion campus, and literally, you could throw a rock and hit the campus from where he lived. And the thing that I realized is that we should not, it hit me that we should not be sending our children to school and they come back in a coffin. We've got to figure out how we address these issues, and I think Congressman Scott has the right answer here. We often talk about the effectiveness and efficiency of government, the effectiveness and efficiency of our actions. And what he's talking about basically is trying to figure out how we bring all the best practices together and give campuses an opportunity and access to information that will allow them to protect their students, and both on campus and off campus. Old Dominion, when this happened, I mean, they already had a plan, but then they regrouped and tried to even enhance that plan, which I applaud them for. But this is about prevention. When we lose a student, we lose one of God's gifts to our society. And the trauma that the young people experienced at Old Dominion, I had an opportunity to interview many of them. It just, I cannot even begin to describe it. But the fact still remains that we, you know, as I told these young students, Christopher's dead. He's gone. The question now is, what do we do to take our pain and our frustration as a family and turn it around and try, and at the Old Dominion campus and young people from all over the country, how do we take his death and the deaths and the tragedies that has happened to so many of our children throughout the country, turn around and bring life to life? In other words, out of his death, bring some life. And I think this legislation is, without a doubt, one of the best ways to do that. And so I'm going to be encouraging those young students who they constantly talking to me and calling me, asking me what can they do to be helpful. I'm going to tell them to try to pull together with Congressman Scott and yours truly and try to make sure that we get a movement to get the Congress and get it out of this House again, and then get the Senate to move on this bill. Again, I applaud Congressman Scott, because I think that this is one of those make sense things, and I would say to any parent who is sending their child to school, you may not think that it will affect you, but believe me, I never thought that the young man who put me on his Facebook page as one of the people who he was most inspired by, I would, you know, that he would, you know, I just talked to him a few days before his death, is no longer with us. I think about him every single day. And so he is gone now, but the fact still remains that out of his death, I do believe that this kind of legislation can bring life. And I thank you for Congressman Scott.
Thank you.